My son is into Bob Ross. He goes,
Really?
"Have you seen this?" I go, "Yes, I've seen this." How did you know about Bob Ross?
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are going back to the Solana Galaxy with the cast of Ratchet and Clank, the video game franchise. So without further ado, let's grab a fistful of bolts and bring them out. Our first guest is an actor whose body of work includes Star Wars, The Clone Wars, All Grown Up, and Final Fantasy X. Today he joins us to discuss giving voice to Lombaxian hero Ratchet. Please welcome James Arnold Taylor.
Hello there.
Hey, flanked by your bodyguards, I see.
Yes, that's right. Always have to keep the light and the dark side on both.
Indeed. Now I've seen lots of home studios and stuff, but looks like you got both sides of the glass. Like there, you got your microphone and you've got a lot of editing equipment behind you as well. Yeah,
this is actually the control room, and my booth is over there. But yeah, this is, so I thought I'd set up here. It's just a nice little view for you, but I thought I'd give everybody that idea of what it's like in a voiceover room.
Oh, well, very nice. James, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan of your body of work. We could go for hours on Star Wars and all that stuff, everything else, but I will throw this out there. I was and remain a huge fan of Batman Brave and the Bold. I loved your Green Arrow and Guy Gardner.
Oh, thank you, man. What a blast that show was. And Diedrich Bader was so great as Batman, and everybody, we just had such a fun time on that. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Absolutely. It was a love letter to DC's Silver Age, which I have fondness for. So absolutely great. And speaking of great, let's bring out our next guest. He is a returning actor. His credits include X-Men Evolution, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and several Transformers series, including Beast Wars, which we had an event for yesterday. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of XJ-0461, better known as Clank. Please welcome back David Kay.
Why, thank you.
Hey, I gotta say, it's so great to see James Arnold Taylor. I miss you, man.
I miss you.
We had coffee and we sat and then how
you
was
were on my back and I was like, "Come on, buddy."
Yeah,
you know,
it was like I was on your back. I was like, "Come on." Yes, that was how long? Was that 3 years ago now?
It had to have been, right? Yes, before the dark times.
Before the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you all.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, well, we're out of that tunnel. We got into a smaller one. We're out. Yeah, it's where we're here. That's the important thing. We're here. Gentlemen, welcome to the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Absolute pleasure to have you both. Our team is going through the chat room right now, pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, I'd just like to throw this out. A narrative, episodic, traditional animation, of course, has its challenges, but video games, of course, have been a entirely different animal. And with the evolution of video games, of course, it's gotten much more complex, much more character-driven, much more narrative-driven. So for the both of you, either with Ratchet and Clank or beyond, what's been the greatest challenge of doing video game gigs?
Ooh, it's, you know, David, I don't know if you can cut me off at any point in time, please. But I'll just say, you know, it's so different because animation, you're usually together like this, where we're together in the room together or online together nowadays. But video games, you're always alone, and it's always just a stack of, I mean, you know, the scripts are huge. It took us how many years to do Rift Apart, David? I mean,
well,
I think
it's usually, isn't it usually like 2 to 4 years before things sort of get to the PS5 stage or PS whatever stage? Isn't it correct?
So it's just, you know, you go away from it for a little while, then they come back and they rewrite things or they write new parts, and, you know, you turn left, this happens, you turn right, this happens. So it's just a different state of mind for voicing, but at the same time, you're acting in the same way you would for an animation. So it's a challenge in its own. It's just its own world.
Yeah.
The doing the film was a treat because we got a chance to be in the booth together.
Yeah,
which was, I thought, oh, this feels really good, and we did a short together. It just felt like you know, but yeah, for like James Arnold Taylor said, we're in there alone, and it's nice to have the human contact in the booth. Just
and not just pull my finger, right?
Yeah. Hey, pull my finger, James, pull my finger.
Well, and then, so the thing too is that David and I, we've been known to do a voice or two, and David is, I mean, he's an amazingly talented impersonator, character, you know, everything. And so we will have fun going back and forth with characters. Like, what are you watching these? Oh, I'm watching this. And then we'll start doing impressions of the people that we're watching and stuff. So Then they have to go, okay, guys, reel it in, reel it in. We're
Yeah,
here to do a
I know.
game.
It's fun. It's fun to riff.
What for either of you, what do you think was the most challenging or maybe just strangest left field effort you were called upon to make?
That's a great question, David.
And for our audience,
effort.
And for our audience doesn't know, we say efforts. That's basically a non-spoken thing. It could be anything from, well, you get shot, or you fall off a building, or you really like what your character is eating. You know,
I don't remember it specifically. There's a few of them. It was hard in the beginning because Clank was sort of, he's a robot, and he had to ride that razor's edge of personality, a robot, and make sure he's not too robotic. And he said, and screaming, I always liked like I don't really like to do robots scream when they fall. I don't. But just a funny aside story. A long time ago in a series far, far away, there was a friend of mine who was asked to burp in the scene, and he couldn't do it. And another friend of mine, I think we all know his name, Gary Chalk, said, "Hey, I got it. I got this." No, and he takes a sip of soda, and we're all waiting for Gary. And literally, I don't know what happened. He kind of tried to burp, but the soda went out of his mouth. We saw it kind of hit the page and kind of come right back. He went, and it came right back, and everybody's like laughing and gagging, and oh, gross! It was the weirdest. But that's, that can happen. Those are one of the hazards. James, I don't know is there anything weird?
I haven't had anything like that. I've heard some stories similarly where people were doing, fight grunts and things, and they pushed a little too hard, and but not me. But I will say that Ratchet and Clank probably has some of the most unusual ones for me, because when we're making the games, we'll do a whole session, and then at the end of the session they'll go, okay, we have some new grunts and groans for you, and they'll show it'll be like a gray screen, and there'll be just a little, kind of a animatic version of Ratchet, and he'll be on a loop doing like over and over, and they just play you a beep, and you beep you in, and then you go, you just give different options. And I always think that's when they need the camera right there, like you have now, because it's the funniest part, because you have no inhibitions when you do voiceover. You cannot worry about making a funny face. And so that's been the great part about doing this as voice actors, as opposed to on camera. People get very funny about that, when they're in the room.
I've heard the stories about the celebrities when they going in there. Can we not have that documentary crew for the obligatory hey Hakuna Matata?
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff. Well, gentlemen, I again absolutely kudos to you for contributing to this amazing video game franchise and your continuing contributions to it. And I absolutely thank you for your talents, your professionalism, and the voices you brought to these characters on behalf of myself and for our audience, because it's really this project. So many people at the office were jumping up and down, all excited. It's, I've been playing that game forever. So
that's great.
Really, really thank you both. And yes, the video game work is a marathon, a lot more than I think anybody ever realizes. I remember Kevin Conroy said, it would take me 2 days to do an episode of Batman. The first Arkham game took me 9 months, 5 hours a day, Monday through Friday. It's hard work. It is absolutely hard work. So, and anybody who ever thinks it looks easy, you're wrong. And with that being said, we are good to go to our audience questions. So let's go ahead and roll our first one. Here's one from Ash. How do you bring who you are and your experiences into your characters?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah, go for it, David.
Well, I always say to people, when you are creating a character, they are an embodiment of who you are. It's part of who you are. So that's why I always say, to bring life to something, it has to have a beating heart. It has to have a soul. It has to know has to breathe. And so, in the case of a robot, in my experience is my goal is to go into a session as Clank and try and bring emotion to it. Like when we were working on the film, I really wanted people to have a little tear when he said something, because he's a lovable character. But and all we do, and James will agree, that we have to breathe a true life into this character. So you kind of find the voice, and then it is who we are. It is part of our you know, our existence here. And all I'm trying to do is bring truth to the character and to make it real, you know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It totally makes sense. And just to add on to it, it's, you know, I think that the biggest misnomer about voiceover, which is really changing now, thanks to so many people's love of video games and animation, is that it is acting. It's character acting. So, you know, Jim Cummings, the legendary voice actor, he says, I'm not a voice actor, I'm a character actor. And I agree with that, because it's exactly what David's saying is we come in and we have to just find a life in this. And the note I loved you just said there, David, about that is like, you find the voice. It's like singing. It's like when you're learning a song, and at first you're kind of pushing in your heart. Okay, I got to hit this note and this and that. And then I can relax into it and do it. So once you find that voice, I was literally working on a cartoon earlier this morning, and we were working on a brand new voice. And once I found it, I'm like, okay, now can we just go back and do it again? Because now I've relaxed. And that happens when you're first finding that voice.
Yeah, that's why, you know, the Simpsons voices when they first started out were like,
totally different.
That's not the Simpsons. You know, it takes some. Yeah, everybody starts to drop in and be comfortable with, you know.
If you listen to the first season of Johnny Test, for example,
I mean, Johnny was kind of like this, and he was, you know, and now when I do him, he's up here, and he's just, you know, he's just totally different,
and so it you know, it changes as you go. Sometimes it pitches up, sometimes it pitches down. The accent changes, the tone, and it's once you're relaxing it and can do anything and sing anything in that tone.
Yeah,
you feel it before you know it.
Yeah, that's a good note.
Yeah, when we were developing all the voices for the Monsters Like Laugh Floor show, it's just like Imagineering had us do everything but the kitchen sink, and then every actor just sort of found that and sort of went from there. But yeah, absolutely it is. And Ash, wonderful question. Thank you for starting us off with that.
Really good.
Ash.
And what do we have next? From Madison. What is your favorite video game? And if you do not have one, what is your favorite board game?
Oh, wow. We're big board game people in my house, and we're big classic video game people. I used to have a full arcade in the house, and now we have just one stand-up Pac-Man machine that has about 28 different arcade games in it, like from Donkey Kong to Frogger and Space Invaders and Galaga. I love all of those. But as far as video games go, this sounds like I'm saying this because of where we are, but the Ratchet and Clank series, it's so all-encompassing, because, you know, growing up, I loved all of those. And then I loved like Sonic the Hedgehog and all those games. You know, Sega Genesis came out and that. And then Ratchet just took all those worlds and combined them. But then because of the buddy nature of the game and the storytelling and the comedy that they write, I just think it's a fantastic series.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually, I'll say it here and now, the only game I've ever got completely through has been a Ratchet and Clank game.
Really?
And like, I don't, it's kind of like video games to me, kind of like golf. Because I got it now. I got, what time is it? So like 4 hours. So by the time I get home, it's like 6 hours. Okay. Well, that's why I get into racket sports. We're done in an hour. And so I don't have a lot of patience. I can't sit there, because all of a sudden I start feeling guilty about, I haven't done anything. It's just, I'm working on that personally, by the way. But it's like I said, and then I start, and I can't focus, because I'm thinking I should be out doing something. You know, I should be out doing something. I'm trying to focus. But I was the very first time, the first game that came out, I remember I was up all night, and it was 6:20 in the morning. And I was excited because I beat the first, I went all the way to the end, and I beat the big first, what was it, James? The big, and I was one of the, and I woke up my wife and said, hey, she goes, what are you doing? I finished the game. I did it. I was so proud, and she could care less. She just rolled over and went back to sleep.
Yeah, that's great, honey.
That was anticlimactic. But no, it's tough for me to vote, because when I get into something, and you know me, like I'm all in. And if I sit there, I'll sit there for a long. So I'm waiting to have the whole immersive, like, VR thing. I want to have a room. I want to go away and be able to do that.
That's dangerous. That's because then you fall into it.
Then I will. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a battle between myself.
Well, and let me say also, for all of those Final Fantasy X fans, it's a real toss-up between Final Fantasy and Ratchet and Clank. But I look at them as two completely different worlds and two completely different types of things. So Final Fantasy X was also just one of those amazing. That was like the first game for me that I finished beginning to end and went through. And this ending was so surprising there. But I won't, no spoilers. But yeah, I know what you mean, David.
But Space Invaders, I
yes,
got a shout out.
Oh yeah, and Donkey Kong.
My all-time, yeah, that was mine. So.
The King of Kong. James, you mentioned your family likes board games. Is there a particular favorite?
We love the Game of Life, and that one is one that we play probably the most often. We have another one called Say Anything that my friend Catherine Tabor, who is the voice of Padme Amidala and Princess Leia and all these various characters, and she's Lori Loud on the Loud House. She got it for us as a gift one year, and it's called Say Anything, and it's a pretty cool board game where you go through and you're asked questions. You know, in my opinion, what is the best cartoon ever made? Or in my opinion, if everybody had to wear blue each day, you know, they're just these odd questions, and then you come out, and so that one's fun too. But I love the classics: Game of Life, Clue, all of those. Battleship.
You could be a winner at the Game of Life.
That's right. That's it.
I landed on every spot where a kid was born, and I ran out of pegs to put the kids in.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. And there you have it, Madison. Wonderful question. Thank you. And what's next? Here's one from Maddie. If you could go anywhere in the world with your Ratchet and Clank character, where would you go?
Oh boy, I don't know, David. What do you
I go to Sicily right away.
Yeah, that's you, man. That's all over it. Yeah, I still would love to go to Italy. I've not, so I have to agree with David. That sounds wonderful.
Oh, you'll never want to come home.
That's the problem. Islam backs would be staying.
That's right.
And you know how much Ratchet and Clank like pizza. So
oh, yes. Perfect.
Life of Pi was the pilot that we did that David was talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh. And it was all about them finding the right pizza. So, yeah, boy. So Sicily. Now, David, have you been to Sicily?
Yeah, a couple of times. My wife was born in Sicily.
That's right.
And have been around Italy, and we're aching to go back and spend an extended amount of time for the next 3 years. Somehow we're going to try and figure that out. But she has cousins all over there, and you know, in Tuscany and stuff, and it's like some reason why James, when I look out the window here in Ventura County where we are, it looks like Tuscany.
Rolling, yeah.
There's a very similar sort of thing, but
now what would Clank do? I feel like Clank would want to go to Italy and look at the art and the history.
Yes,
and recite all of that to everybody.
It'd be basically, Ratchet, this painting is 5,000 years old. Look at the sky. Do you see how they found it? And you'd be like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, you do your thing, like, yeah. But over here.
That's great. There's a guy over there selling cannolis.
Yeah, look at that.
Exactly.
Leave the painting. Take the cannoli.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Boom.
There you have it. Oh, Maddie, fun question. Thank you so much for that one. Oh, what's next? And here's one from Julian. What is one of your favorite moments in the Ratchet and Clank series? Give you a little wiggle.
Man, okay. You know, I love the Crack in Time series. I really do. And I loved that we got to know a little bit more about Ratchet's background. But I have to say, Rift Apart, you know, without any spoilers, and not everybody has played it yet, just the fact that there's this alternate version of Ratchet and Clank out there, those moments were really cool. And there's some actually, like David was talking about, there's some tearful moments in this too. But I'm also a big fan of the movie and the game that came with that. It's too hard. It's like naming your favorite child. You can't do it, David, can you?
So
was that again?
Question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking for quotes. My favorite quote.
We're cheating. Wait a second.
I'm cheating. I am, because I'm thinking, oh my God, what is my favorite moment? My favorite moment is again. I'm going to reference the film where they knew those bonding moments.
Yeah, when they met too. You know,
yeah, the first moment they met, it was like, oh, the back's there, even, you know, like we've been involved in it so long, or I saw that and went, oh, there it is. There's the backstory.
Yeah.
Look at that. You know, I love that little moment.
you can call me Clank. Or when he found his father, like his, when Clank.
Yeah.
Which game was that from? Do you recall when the
Kraken
out? Was that the Kraken time?
People in our virtual audience, if you know the answer to that, please mention it, and Paul will approach it.
Are you talking about when Ratchet? Yeah, or Clank.
Well, yeah, because when Ratchet found out there's more.
Yeah, Kraken Time, Future and Kraken Time, all that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
That's
some of my favorite stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I still have a bunch of the posters. I have posters. I have the Kraken Time posters up there.
And you've got your statue there. Mine's sitting up on the shelf behind me, and I almost put it over behind me too. But
I got two. Remember this statue? Look at it. Remember this?
Oh, I know which one you're going to get. Yeah, I just unboxed
But we don't too.
Remember this one? Remember that one?
That's the other one. Yeah, that one's really cool.
I love that one too.
Yep.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
I have both of them right over there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. Julian, wonderful question. Thank you for that one. All right. What do we have next? And here's one from Hannah. Oh, if you could voice a Disney character, who would you voice? Well, and we can say straight Disney because Star Wars, part of the family, blah, blah, blah.
Sure. Well, we both have voiced a lot of things for Disney. I mean, spent our careers voicing for Disney, but talking about like classic ones.
Yeah, maybe the classic Walt-inspired ones. Yeah.
Man, Mickey's classic, but my buddy Brett Iwan does a fantastic job with Mickey.
Yeah, we've had Brett here several times, and we adore him.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's I can't do the Donald Duck voice. I can sneeze like Donald Duck, but that's about it. But I love his attitude. So if I could voice a Disney character like that, but I was Jiminy Christmas. I was Milo Thatch in The Lost City of Atlantis for Michael J. Fox. Of course, was the original voice of Milo, and then we did a spin-off series that ended up. We recorded 18 episodes, and then those episodes got cut down to 3 episodes, turned into one direct-to-DVD thing because the movie didn't do as well as they had hoped, and so they just turned it into a spin-off.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame because they're sitting somewhere in a Disney vault, and they are fantastic episodes, and we worked with so many wonderful people.
That was interesting to know. And all right, audience members, let's get that hashtag Lost Atlantis episodes.
That's right.
Get them going. So you always hear about streaming services. We need content.
Yeah,
content.
Exactly.
Well, guys,
18 episodes sitting somewhere. Yeah. I could pick back up. I could do the voice again. Whoa, wait a second, Doc.
Yeah.
There it is.
Travis says a Kraken Time was
that's okay. So I was right.
Oh, good. You're right. Good. That's the poster I have up. Good. All right. I knew I had a poster for a reason.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So David, if you could take a shot at a classic Disney character.
Gosh, Bill is the ultimate Goofy, but I've always since I was a kid, before I knew Bill did Goofy, I had really no idea about voices. I was always, hey, Mickey, I just love Goofy as a character. But I could never ever, you just like
I know that's a hard question.
I know. How about the guy who does the announcer at the beginning of Up? I'd like to do him.
Wait a second. But classic Disney, I think I love Goofy. Yeah. I would never attempt to do, but when we're walking around in our pajamas at home, that's what I would. That's my go-to Disney voice to screw around.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or Pete, like Jim Cummings does Pete, but all right, he's that great. They're just fun. Yeah.
Hey, my son respects me.
Yeah. It is.
So absolutely, it's Hannah, great question. Absolutely, I would love to do a Monsters Inc. character. Oh wait.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
What do we have next? Hey, here's one from Wolfie. What's the hardest time you've ever laughed in the recording booth?
Oh man,
I assume this means where you just were cracking up and you just
couldn't
get back on track.
It is so hard, and then you can't get back. It is so hard.
Yeah.
David, you have
I'm only remembering Avengers Assemble, the series, and Roger Craig Smith and Bumper Robinson. And Bumper does this thing when if he makes a mistake, he sort of does this little, he does this little weird little thing. And
yeah, like his reset.
Yeah, it's like a reset thing. It's for, and when he starts laughing, then Roger says something, and then we're out. Literally, and I remember being out for 10. We had to literally take a break. I can't remember what was said.
Roger is the master at stirring the pot.
Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah,
we've had him on here before, and somebody says something, he's on it. Oh, really? He will throw that match and that bottle of gasoline.
Yes, he will.
Because he'll look at him and he'll eliminate you. David K, what are you looking at? Are you looking at me, David K? He'll imitate me, imitating him, looking at him, and then things go south in a hurry. James, you?
So I do the voice of Fox Animation Domination. It's The Simpsons coming up next, and I have a lot of times where they'll be playing me the spots. So we do them in real time. We do them live, kind of to picture, and they'll play me stuff for like Bob's Burgers, and there's always. I'm sorry, but farts are funny, and they always between Family Guy and Bob's Burgers, there's always some fart joke in their promos, and I'm the guy that's supposed to deliver the line. All new coming up next, and it'll always be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then I have to come in with my serious announcer, and there's so many times where I can't do it, and and I start laughing, and then we go, and that happens about every other week. So those ones are tough, but especially when you cannot get your brain off of it. But when they're playing it back and you have to do it live, it's really hard.
This is a great question, because this is one of the things which makes this job the utmost joy, because every day there is laughter and joy, and sometimes it's like tear-inducing laughter, and that is the best. And I can't wait to get back in the studio to work with everybody again, because therein lies hidden laughter that I haven't experienced in a couple of years. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Wolfie, fun question. Thank you so much. And let's roll another one. And here's one from M, sending one in between sending 007 on missions. What do each of you like to do in your free time?
Wow. I like to paint. I like painting on canvas with acrylic and clay paints. I like
what sort of style?
I do. It's kind of abstract, and then I actually paint words of wisdom on it. I'll take some scripture and stuff, and I'll paint a proverb on there or something, so I have something to look at in the house. That's what it originally started as.
Is that? Can we see that?
Yeah, it's on my website, jamesarnoldtaylor.com. Look up art, and you'll see some of my art in there. But cool. That is very relaxing to me. And in fact, so my art studio is on the other side of my studio here. So through this wall here, and I have an easel there and set up, and I do all my painting there. So that's my free time outside of spending time with my family, which I love. Long walks and long walks with the wife, and movies with my daughter. I just took my daughter to the movies yesterday. We saw Jurassic Park, and I didn't like it as much as I like Top Gun, but we had a fun time.
Top Gun was something I never saw coming.
Man, it was cool. It was so cool. Sorry.
I could. Do you do your Bob Ross to yourself once in a while?
Let's just put a little happy cloud right there.
See,
everybody loves a happy cloud.
It's relaxing. It is.
It is. He was amazing.
Yeah, he was. My son is into Bob Ross. He goes,
really?
Have you seen this? I go, yes, I've seen this. How did you know about Bob Ross?
There's a great documentary out there too. That's
very good.
At every con, I always see one Bob Ross cosplayer.
Oh yeah,
at least one,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, David? You're a golfer and stuff, right?
No, not too much golf. I play a random sport called squash, but I haven't played it because we move out here, and the doubles court is in town. My buddies, a lot of my best friends in the world come from racket sports. I'm playing tennis now. I really enjoy tennis in my free time. Nice. Fitness for me has been part of my world forever, and it keeps my head on straight. And
it's a shame you're not in shape at all.
It's
Gosh, he's just wasting away.
Oh my God. I just, because the day is sort of full of stuff. My parents are visiting. I haven't seen them for a couple of years. It's been great. They've been here, and the visiting's been awesome. So I tend to, in my free time, try and do as little as I can. If I have free time, I'll literally go out and I'll sit and I'll look at the mountains. And I go,
yep.
And like, or tomorrow we're going to head over to the beach in Ventura County, and it's like nobody around on these beaches out here. And like, oh my God, there's nobody here. Where is everyone? Those are some of the things I'm always doing something, and I enjoy it. I love food, and I took my WSET 3 exam. I'm into how I have no idea, but I got into wine a number of years ago, and it's not just about the drink; it's about geography, topography, history.
Sure. Yeah.
It's all of those
pairing
things.
And all of that.
All the pairing, and I wrote this level 3 in Napa a few weeks ago, and I don't know if I passed or not. I did well on 2/3 of it. The next third, the written, I hit a stumbling block, and I'm not sure if I left too many marks on the table, but it's the first time I've actually written an exam. A college like exam since I was in college. So, but I love it because it's farming, it's hard work, that takes up my time. I like to read about that. So I'm a complex weird person.
Yeah, my best friend and his wife, when they first got married, they realized we need like a joint hobby, and they settled on being wine aficionados, and they did the same thing, taking little classes, and they're always like, "Hey, Patty, try this." I was like, "Just give me." My palate is so awful. Just don't waste your good stuff on me, please.
Yeah, it's a thing. I just again, I don't know why.
The importance of what David said too, because I do this as well now. As I get older, the importance of sitting outside, doing nothing, being mindful, and just staring at the trees.
Yeah.
Boy, does it help reset.
It really does.
That's a big thing, man. I agree.
Everybody needs some quiet. And M, great question. Thank you so much. Yeah. What we have next from Hansel. What character would you cosplay as?
I've actually cosplayed as a couple of my characters. Obi-Wan, for sure. So Disney had made me an official Obi-Wan costume that was an exact replica of season 3 Clone Wars Obi-Wan. And it's now, I love it. I wish I still had it, but I actually donated it to Steve Sansweet's Rancho Obi-Wan, and it is on a mannequin, a very short mannequin at Rancho Obi-Wan.
Mannequin Skywalker?
Yes, Mannequin Skywalker. But I'm here all week. And then, of course, these ones behind me fit me because Disney made those for me for an event called Star Wars Weekends. So I got to wear those on stage and stuff. But yeah, Obi-Wan I've dressed up as, but never Ratchet. And you've never dressed as Clank, have you, David?
No, I'm we lived in a neighborhood that as Halloween was a big deal, and a lot of my friends would come up. Eric Bowes would come dressed up as an amazing kid. And I go, Halloween would stress me out because 2 months before Halloween, hey, they're having a hey, what are you going to dress up as? And I go, I would just, I'm not going. I can't. And I think I bought like a fake Batman costume, and I showed up. Okay, hey, I'm Batman. Hi. Okay, everybody happy now? It's like I'll just be over here. And another Batman shows up. All right, another Batman. Great. Okay, now that's worn off, but. So I'm not really great. It's I'm a humbug kind of, and I'd love to dress up, but I just like it's. But I would go as Sesshomaru. I would actually if I was talking about that at a convention in Dallas a month or so ago, and I said, if someone come up with a costume, if they had the robes and the whole thing, that'd be kind of cool. I could. So I think Sesshomaru. One of the characters that did an anime years ago.
That's cool.
Maybe.
Watch out now, David.
I don't want to get stressed
make you a
out.
Costume.
They gotta stressed out. But yes, Sesshomaru.
Oh, there you have it, Hansel. Fun question. Thank you. What's next? From Shark Boy. Has anyone ever recognized you in public, either for Ratchet and Clank or just maybe for any of the other voices in your dossiers?
David?
No.
Really? Oh, come on.
No, never. No, I didn't. I don't want to be. I want to go to the grocery store and pick up my little almond milk and go home, and nobody tells me, nobody knows.
Did you ever get clocked in your DJ days?
You know, when I was a DJ, yeah, when I started out as a DJ, I was a local DJ in my hometown of Santa Barbara. And so people would know me there just because it was, you know, you'd do events and stuff. And I was a stand-up comic as well. But nowadays, I'm actually surprised how often I get recognized. And I think a lot of it is, I did a movie for a friend a couple years ago called The Last Blockbuster. And it was about the last Blockbuster video. And I'm the first person in the movie, and I'm throughout it. And so I think a lot of that too now is people go, wait, I've seen that guy. But I've noticed it is like every other time I'm at the grocery store that I go to, the regular store, there's a handful of guys that are Ratchet and Clank and Final Fantasy fans and Obi-Wan. And they'll walk by me and they'll go, hello there. I'll go, hello. Hey, hi. Yeah, it's Obi-Wan. Okay, you got me. But so it's kind of fun, but it's, you know, usually it's at Comic-Cons where you get to be the rock star for the day where people, hey, and it's fun. But
yeah, the Comic-Con, the Comic-Con things are like you walk in. It's always still strange to me. You walk down the hallway and you mind you're just going to your thing and you forget. And people go, hey, they start to
a little buzz
and they go, oh, right, I'm Megatron. I mean, you know, I forget. I just because it's still very surreal to me. We talked about this, I think, when you and I had lunch the last time.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just amazed they have me. I'm in the room. Somebody actually hired me and put me, gave me this. That's so still grateful. I'm still at that level. So,
and it is. I mean, your peers and everybody else too. People are just all like, you know, I did a gig 20 years ago, and it turns out people still want to talk to me about it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always like something that, it was a fun gig, but it wasn't the thing I thought would take on. So it's always those left field things.
Yep.
I never knew how big this would become. I mean, you remember the very first audition, James? Man, it was a paragraph. It was really? There was no picture. It was just like a little thing. And I said, well, I did, you know, I sent it in and forgot about it. And here we are. How many years later now? 17, 15, 16?
No, it's 19 years.
19 years?
Wow.
Oh.
We're very old. Come on, Clank.
James,
let's go. Save the galaxy.
I can't do the voice anymore.
Ears.
I can't do the voice anymore. I gotta go wee.
You know.
No.
I know. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, Shark Boy. Good one. Thank you.
Yeah, good one, Shark Boy.
All right. What do we have next? From Stony. If you could hang out with a Ratchet and Clank for a day, what would you do besides go to Sicily or Italy?
Oh, I'd fly, wouldn't you, David? I'd get in one of those ships and fly with them. Have Ratchet fly us around, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be. I dig that. Do the you know, and drop down into between those buildings and that.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So you can actually do the laugh or the scream. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. No, that would be fun. And just, you know, kind of because they are celebrities now, right? They get stopped more than we do. Going back to the other question. So right. Ratchet and Clank are now, especially after like Rift Apart, the opening of it is all about that, how they're these heroes now. So it'd be fun to hang out and kind of take the perks of what Ratchet and Clank offer.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I would like that.
Very nice. Thank you, Stony. What is next? And here's one from Blank Tooth. If Ratchet and Clank were in a band touring the galaxy, what would the band's name be?
The Clanktronics.
The Ratchetafarians.
Oh, see how nice we are to each other. We're giving the other. Yeah, boy, I think Ratchet and Clank would say it all, though. If it was just Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank, one night only at the Universal Amphitheater.
Live.
There he goes. See, I knew he did.
Yeah.
I was just baiting him.
Yeah, I think it almost be that way too. So there you have it, Blank Tooth. Okay, I think we have time for one more. So let's see if we got out a really fun one. And here's one from Haley. What game show, past, present, or future, do you think Ratchet and Clank would totally win at?
Oh man. Well, if it was up to Ratchet, it would be Wipeout. you know, but if it was up to Clank, it would be Jeopardy, right?
Absolutely Jeopardy. I know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
I am once again the champion. Thank you, Alex Trebek.
Correct.
There we go. Gosh, we miss him.
Yeah.
Fellow Canuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some big shoes to fill. All right. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute blast. Any final words before we take our leave?
No, I just miss James. I just miss
I miss David.
Yeah.
Miss my buddy Clank. But yeah, no, this has just been, thank you, GalaxyCon, for letting us get to hang out together like this and be together and just answer questions. But also, what great questions and what fun.
Really good questions.
It's you know, it's as David was saying, I'm just humbled. I am so thrilled that this game has affected so many people so long, and it's just been fun because boy, we need some fun, and this is fun. So I'm just grateful.
Yeah, likewise, agree, man. Good words.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, it's been my absolute pleasure to serve
you both
Patty. Once again. Thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience joining us. And as always, thank you for your great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care. And remember, friends, smiles are free, so spend them often.